Thank you for accepting my invitation. And I know that you're a very busy monk, responsibilities, quite
Well,
responsibilities.
not
So today, I just want to, know about you and about your work. So before we go ahead, would you mind to give your short introduction, please?
well. Short introduction. Me, a Buddhist monk. Obviously, my robes tell you I'm a Buddhist
That's
monk.
very short.
But I was born in Chittagong Hill Tracts, Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Then because I was born into Buddhist families,
Mm-hmm.
I brought up as a Buddhist children or Buddhist boys. That I became temple boy at the age of 9 or something like 11, maybe 9 or 10 years old. Then I became novice. After my novice ordination, I went to Burma to study Buddhism because Chittagong Hill Tract is very close to Burma, western part of Burma anyway. So when I went there, we do not need passport because the borderland people between these two countries can cross easily without having to have a passport. Then I educated in a Buddhist monastery. Then I became monk at the age of 21.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started to go to Thailand, from Thailand to Sri Lanka to UK.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now in the UK for about 20 years, 22 years actually.
So thank you.
And yes.
Yeah. So you have a very long journey, Venerable Achan. Born in Bangladesh and went to study in an early age in Myanmar, Burma, and then to Thailand and Sri Lanka and the UK. I remember you can speak so many languages. I am very jealous about you. Could speak Myanmar, Burma language, and Thai language, and Sri Lankan language, Bangladeshi language, Bengal,
Well,
Indian language, and obviously English. And
not Hindi though. I just understand Hindi, but I do speak Burmese, Thai, Bengali, because English is not our mother tongue, but we train to speak not as fluent as English natives anyway. You understand this.
Yeah.
So we try to communicate in English because it is a country where we live. We all have to speak English anyway.
So how long did you stay in Myanmar, if you don't mind me asking?
I was in Myanmar about 6 years, from 81 to 86. Yes, 6 years. 87, I came back from Myanmar.
And then you went to Thailand.
Yes, I came back from Myanmar. I'm not sure which year, but I think 1987. Then I went to sit high school exams in Bangladesh.
Okay.
Actually, I wanted to go back to Burma 1988, But well, something has gone wrong in Burma in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
The democratic revolutions
Mm-hmm.
against the military government. Of course, everyone knew this.
Okay.
Then I did not manage to go back to Myanmar. Then I went to study Bengali
Uh-huh.
high school because I have primary education in Bangladesh anyway.
Yeah.
Then I completed my high school exams in 1991.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, and then immediately after my high school exams, I got, because I passed in the exam, then I went to Thailand, 1991, just before the Wasa, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Then I was in Thailand from 1991 to 1997. 97, yes.
around 6 years. What did you study over there in Thailand?
I did my degree but from Mahatula Buddhist University,
Mm-hmm.
4 years. Then I went to study in Sri Lanka for 1 year, my master degree,
Mm-hmm.
before I settled in the UK.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you have done your PhD from London University. So before going into
Yeah.
that, I remember that you were looking after most venerable late Revata Bhante. Yeah. So
Yeah, sure.
how did you
True.
come
True.
to
Yes.
UK? And would you mind to let us know a little bit about your journey to UK and your education, please?
Well, I met Bante in Thailand,
Oh, okay.
Bante Dhamma,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to look after him in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, he asked me whether I wanted to come to the UK to help him,
Mm-hmm.
because we have quite long uh, discussion with him
Right.
about the way how I should expect if I come to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And those days were actually very difficult to communicate on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
because the mobile phone just started to operate in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Then we used to exchange through letters
Letters. Oh.
by post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, email later by post. I sent letters to him. He replied me back. He when he visited us, he used to talk about the way what uh, I should do if I come to the UK,
Mm-hmm.
and what should I train myself. And he firstly asked me to train meditations. Of course, in Thailand, as you know, we trained Mahasi meditation technique
Yeah.
in the universities anyway. Every year we had to go to meditation retreat,
Mm-hmm.
7 days or 2 weeks, 10 days or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I have this meditation background, both practical sitting for week 10 days retreat, at the same time also classes that we have to run.
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn from our meditation teacher
Mm-hmm.
about samatha as well as vipassana meditation in the classroom. On the top of this, of course, I been already learned quite a lot from Burma regarding course Pali, Abhidharma, and other, Patthana, and plus discourses. So those background has already been, giving me quite confidence in terms of my studies. And of course, Bhante Ravadadama was asking me to train with working tradition, working and tradition, working tradition, of course, led by Goenkaji. Yes, Goenkaji. So I've been to Goenkaji Meditation Center a couple of times. I meditated there, I think a few times, 2, 3 times, or 4 times, not sure exactly. I think 3 times I've been to his retreat, 10 days retreats.
So when did you
and
come?
Then of course I came back from Thailand to Sri Lanka to the UK. And of course every year I have to train with Bhante Ravadadama. I mean, every day we have meditation classes here, led by Seattle, every evenings. And one of these days is for the public around Birmingham. So I have to look after, on behalf of him. Sometimes he is quite busy. Then he said, go down and you look after these people to teach meditations. And then, of course, I use his techniques to teach meditation. And he runs a 10-day course every year at the Vihara. People normally come from Burmese tradition, Thai, not Thai, especially English and Burmese. People used to come to the class. I have recorded his lectures. Of course, those days recording was not good, really. It was difficult to capture all those voices. It is difficult to hear it. But of course, I trained by his techniques as well.
So and then later, after he passed away, and then you continued your study and gained the PhD.
Yes, my intention was actually to complete my educations. I been through substantial education, educational knowledge from traditional background. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Sri Lanka, as well as my early tradition was Burma, Pali tradition. So those are ancient Buddhist traditional teaching. Then I thought, what should I do? What should I do? Or what happen if I study in English tradition in the Western tradition? So I was thinking to study here during Bante's times, but I was very busy with him. Now after his departure, I got opportunity to study here at London University. So I completed my PhD 2012.
2012. Yeah. So from
Yeah.
now, I always feel very jealous about you. Do you know that? Because you know all the major Theravada Buddhist countries' languages, and you have been there and studied all three countries like Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka. So I was always jealous, and you can speak those languages as well. So you're very good
Well,
at languages too. Uh,
yeah. Well, I would say I was lucky to go and study in those countries.
mm,
Then, of course, don't forget to stay or study in these three countries
mm, mm,
because it takes a lot of time.
yeah,
So that's why, my early age was important for me.
yeah,
I went to Burma to study Pali
yeah.
in very early age.
Mm-hmm.
But if you or anyone to go to study in such a series of countries, one after the other, then it will take quite a long time. You are right.
Mm,
But for me, I was lucky because I went to Burma very early age.
from
So
your experience of
it
being in
was very helpful.
yeah, from your experience of being in these important three countries, Theravada countries, what do you think
Yes.
about Buddhism in these three countries? In basically any similarity or any
Yes.
any important things or differences?
Well, we all depend on Theravada Pali traditions.
Mm,
From the point of view of traditional study, I
mm-hmm,
think Burma should be the best
mm-hmm,
place
mm,
to study Pali traditions. And of course, Pali study has been internationally popular,
mm,
even in the West.
mm,
UK, Europe, America, you can study Pali, no problem. But from the point of view of traditional study, I think Burma should be quite, favorable from my point of view.
mm-hmm,
Burma uh, has been important for Pali education. Then, of course, being a foreigner, people coming from other countries, they had to train, they have to study Burmese
mm-hmm,
language first before they actually go to the monastery education.
mm-hmm,
Of course, Sri Lanka monastery education is good as well,
mm-hmm.
but Sri Lanka uh, has some Western influence to uh, undertake or to run the classes.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite different from Burmese traditions. And Thailand, of course, I'm not sure about Thailand monastery education, but I've been in Thailand for 5-6 years with university education
Mm-hmm.
rather than monastery education. You should know how Thai monastery education has been uh, practiced because you were there for 6-7 years as well.
Mm-hmm.
How do you uh, learn from Thailand, or which way you have been learning in Thailand? Are you uh, a student of monastery education before you
Well,
enter into university, or you were there from the beginning with university education? How
well,
about yourself
I,
in
I,
Thailand?
my study in Thailand began straight away from the university. And
All right. Okay.
I spent a lot of time in the university, but I was living at the temple and monastery, and also learning from the monastic education, the basic monastic education too. Um, but mainly, I was for the
All right.
Buddhist, Buddhist studies in university, and after that, I came to UK. So
Well, of course, you learn Pali as well, do you, from university?
yeah, basic Palis I
Do
learned.
you learn Pali?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And of course, you,
from your view,
yeah,
now you've been
yes.
of most of the Theravadan countries, and you're involved in their education, and also you've been in the UK over 20 years. And I know that you've been involved in the teachings in Birmingham University and at the temple, Dhammatalaga temple, and as well as traveling to the Europe as well for teachings. In your understanding between Buddhism in I would say, yeah, Asia and in let's say in Europe, what your views are on nowadays?
Well, I've been to Europe. Yes, of course. I've been to Europe, to different countries. Some of those countries are actually, uh, of course, Buddhist background. Buddhist people invited me, and others are more to do with meditations
Mm-hmm.
and kind of, teachings
Mm-hmm.
how we cope with this modern world, especially the mental uh, aspect of philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the teaching that I gave here uh, at the Birmingham University, well, it was more to do with, again, meditation rather than academic education.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work with Ajahn Lau. Ajahn Lau was the one who actually uh, initiated the meditation classes at the Birmingham University.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one of the founder of Buddhist Society, Buddhist Student Society, because he did his PhD from Birmingham University.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to go with him to teach meditation
Mm-hmm.
once a week.
Mm-hmm.
I think starting from 2000 to 2007,
Mm-hmm.
every uh, week,
Mm-hmm.
every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, a few of those other things teaching in the classes, those are again not really regular, but just to uh, give kind of a lecture,
Mm-hmm.
uh, invited lectures rather than regular teacher.
Okay.
Then, of course, I went to Europe to teach meditation, particularly in Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, and German borders.
Mm-hmm.
5 days or 7 days only, not much, not long.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they wanted to understand about, how our mind can be helpful, or our Buddhist tradition, Buddhist meditation especially, can be helpful to cope with this increasingly, competitive world, stressful world, if you like.
Yeah.
And the uh, Eastern education, because the Burmese or Thai, we our education systems are different, especially the Asian education system is different from the West. we do not have much question to the to ask the problems. The education in the way is quite analytical, quite different from the East. Because you've been to Aberdeen University to teach there as well, have you?
Yes,
You used to teach there.
I was running meditation sessions there too.
You did your master degree
Yes,
at Aberdeen University,
I
did
did a
you?
master's
You
degree.
completed, did you?
Yeah, I did. I did complete it
Yeah.
5 years ago. A master's degree from
Yeah.
science, the religion and society department. So, and after that, I joined the chaplaincy. So I am currently Buddhist honorary chaplain at the University of Aberdeen. Yeah. So,
Right.
as you have mentioned
So
about meditation quite a lot, how did you find the Western interest in meditation and about the our Buddhist Asian migrated Buddhists' interest in meditation? Can you put some views on meditation?
well, meditation is for everyone, not necessarily for traditional Buddhist, but also every human being. Meditation is helpful to everyone. But the traditional Buddhists, of course, being born in the tradition, they kind have different approaches. The approaches like Mahasi technique or Goenkaji technique or Mogul Searo. There are more techniques available in Burma. Then of course Thailand as well. Ajahn Mang, Ajahn Cha, Ajahn, of course you one of your teacher as well. Ajahn Lumpur Sot. Is it Lumpur Sot?
Yeah.
Wapaknam?
Yeah.
And Lumpur Sot. And of course you can understand how Thai people actually practice Buddhism everyday lives, and how Burmese people practice everyday, their Buddhist lives. Because from the point of view of Western culture, the practices are quite different. Of course, you know this as well, because the people in the West focus more how to calm their mind, because they have to work every day from morning to evening. One after the another, day in, day out. The mind has always been busy, so they need to have some kind of space to raise their mind. So we, of course, provide meditation to the public here as well at Birmingham Buddhist Vihara. But this, of course, only limited space once a week. I only for 2 hours. So what we teach them is how to breathe, or breathing technique is our primary technique. Breathing, breathe out. And of course, we analyze the mind as well, our minds, how our mind can be disrupted by external object and so on. Of course, you know this as well. So you do have your own meditation classes every day, do you?
Yeah, we used to have meditation classes every Tuesdays and Wednesday evening, for 2 hours. But since the COVID-19, we have closed and possibly close for maybe another couple of months. That was, but now we have to close it. And again, we used to have classes in the health village, in NHS, and a support group in a community halls like that. But now all classes are closed.
You okay? So how do you run then every day? You run by Zooming.
Nowadays, I'm
You sit it.
on a Facebook, regularly on a Facebook, and as well as the special classes from the Zoom classes still running. Facebook classes as well nowadays. It's ongoing. There is no fix, like there is no fixed topics or there is no fixed program for it. But we're running like ongoing every day, just normally chanting and a practice like that. So, and Bante,
Do you have
what do you
so?
think? What do you think
Yeah.
of this Western understanding of a mindfulness? Before we go into, today's my main topic actually is about, I want to promote your work, the Lotus Children's Education Trust, which you are the
So
founder.
we can come back next week or another day for this. So do you want to keep it today?
Huh? Well,
we can come back tomorrow or day after tomorrow, no problem.
yeah, that's fine.
What time now?
It's
What time is it?
it's 3 o'clock now. So
3 o'clock. Yes.
yeah, it's about 3 o'clock.
So well, we can go another for another few minutes, and then we come back tomorrow or
Okay.
another day. Do you need to pay for it? Zooming.
This Zoom
The conference.
paid for the
yeah.
payment, and if you pay it, then it can last for long.
Yeah.
If you don't pay it,
Okay.
only 40 minutes. Yeah.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
How long we been through now?
Now.
How long we have been through on this
30
broadcast?
minutes now.
Huh?
30 minutes now.
30 minutes. Okay. We can go for another 10 minutes. No problem. So what do you want? What do we discuss?
My question was, like, since you've been involved in the Western Western world and teaching meditation to the Wests, and you've been studying meditation and involving and teaching meditation, just one quick question that what do you think of this Westerners or in a Western view on meditation?
Well, meditation is for everyone, not necessarily to discriminate between Westerner and the Easterner. Meditations, of course, is very popular in the West.
Yeah.
Mindfulness is another area that ordinary secular people are looking for, rather than retreating to a particular center or meditations hall.
Suppose suppose someone who never practiced meditation or never practiced mindfulness meditation, and if they want to know, or if we want to introduce to them, how would we introduce? What is it for, and what are the benefit of it? What is it for, that meditation?
Well, meditation is to calm our mind. And of course, why we need to calm our mind? Our mind has been busy always, day in, day out. And of course, people are looking for a space to stay silent. But this country in the West, the activities, works, jobs, and social interactions every day are more, more advanced, I would say, or greater than the Eastern world. We are not happy when uh, we meet someone. We try to uh, to do something according to our wish. We always react to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So meditation is to uh, not just to control our mind, but also to keep ourselves peaceful
Mm-hmm.
without having to rely on the uh, external effects or external material world. So, well, if you look at the people who come to the class, meditation class, they have their own uh, problems in their lives. Some of them are not happy with their partners, or others are not really having a good times in their jobs. So some others are being depressed because they expose too much to the external world. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have time to stay with their own mind.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, we provide uh, facilities to come and sit with us, how we can keep our mind, uh, more happy, more peaceful state.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on individual as well.
Mm-hmm.
Each each and everyone has their own problems
Mm-hmm.
in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So the intention of our meditation is, of course, especially to uh, build up a confidence the way how you are. Of course, samatha meditation is the area that we ask them to sit, just breathing in, breathing out to calm their mind without thinking anything outside world. But we have been living on this world. It is not easy to stop our memories uh, during our meditations. So we have to teach them about Vipassana meditation at that point in relation to the memories. And the reaction part of the mind is is actually come from our own habit that we you get used to in everyday lives to react every day. So we have to combine together. One is samatha meditation, the other is vipassana meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Because samatha meditation, as you teach regularly, to calm our mind, not to think, not allow our mind to hijack by the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just make effort to keep in one singular place.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Vipassana meditation is to uh, allow things to happen,
Mm-hmm.
but you as a meditator, you must not react to it.
Mm-hmm.
So reaction has always been problems in our mental state. Of course, even during the practice that we provide techniques, say samatha meditation for 10 minutes, which means that 10 minutes you are not uh, allowed to think anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 minutes is a time for you to focus only
Mm-hmm.
into one particular point.
Mm-hmm.
But within 10 minutes, you can see how your mind behaves. Your mind started to wander, proliferated mind come into you. This is not your choice.
Mm-hmm.
You do not want it to happen. But mind itself, from the point of view of Vipassana meditation, is anatta.
Mm.
uncontrollable substance.
Mhm.
But you can train. We can train our mind to keep under our control, but that doesn't mean that mind always stay under our control. So it is not easy to keep this mind under our control. Therefore, we have to make it uh, balance between this uncontrollable state of mind and the mind that we must not allow to happen as it wishes.
Mhm.
So we work together to keep this mind uh, substantially
Mm.
under our control. But
Mhm.
once this mind started to wander or started to goes around everywhere, then you have to watch out. You have to look into it. And of course, the reaction part of the mind has to be uh, always mindful, because we react, not just reacting violently, but we react subtle level underneath. Tendency, we call it tendency, or we call anusaya in Pali words. We react, but we don't know. So the actual meditation is to know that state of mind.
Mhm.
So knowing that state of mind is very helpful to understand the nature of
Mhm.
your mind.
Mhm.
Without knowing the state of mind, it will be difficult for a meditator to understand the nature of mind. So
Mhm.
what we provide technique is to sit and try to calm your mind, try to calm our mind, then try to understand it,
Mhm.
how it behaves. The behaviors of mind has always been uh, harmful, always been active.
Mhm.
Even uh, during the state of sleep, mind is still uh, subtly working, subtlety of mind. So mind uh, is our life, every part of our action led by our mind, but we do not understand it. We are not aware how this mind has been uh, harming, or how this mind has been helping us
Mhm.
to run our life or to establish our life. So, well, it depends on the individual as well to guide them.
Mhm.
Because you do have your own technique
Yeah, there
how
was one
to
question.
guide them.
There was one question someone asked me about what actually happens when you meditate.
What actually happened?
When you meditate,
Well,
how would
what does it mean? This?
it's
What
just a
does it mean?
question
What?
was asked that what actually happens during the meditation, like um, people sometimes say they have seen the colors, they have seen the visions, and different people will explain different signs they have seen, so and so. And someone who is very new, and this question was asked to me, what actually happens when you meditate? Then in that case, how would we respond?
What? Well, this mind. We try to keep our mind uh, under our awareness. Mind is diverse. Okay. From the beginning of our lives, as soon as we're born onto this earth, we started to communicate with the world through our eyes. We
Mhm.
see the colors. Then, of course, step by step, we learn from our parents. Our parents say, don't do it. And our parents uh, taught us what is what. The spoons, the doors, the bowls, the others. And if you think of your own visual objects in front of you, the colors you see, the books, the table, the chairs, there are billions of those items in front of you, because those are all in your brain, in your mind. And then you think of your sound, the other sensory object, which example sound, the taste, the smell, the touch. Those objects are billions in their number, and yet we manage to communicate with them through our sensories. Those sensories objects are always active and provoke our mind. We communicate with this object and we interpret in our mind. This is center processing unit, just like computer device that we have, CPU. So the mind operate the same. All those informations we coordinate through our skanda, is called aggregates of mind. So when we meditate, we try to stop those things, not to focus apart from the object that you are asked to do your meditations. Now, because of our experience they've been through from the day one to right now, so those minds are not easy to control them, and those memories will come back to you. And then what you do at the times of meditations, you do nothing, just stay with one single mind. It could be different from one person to another. The experience will be different, their background, their social behaviors, their families, how families taught to behave in everyday's life. Those will be part of our minds. The way how we see the world is different from each other. But one thing, we are the same in terms of our emotions. Emotions like sukha vedana, dukkha vedana. If you hurt by someone, you will get painful naturally. Then if you hurt to someone, and someone will get painful as well, the same. So from the point of view of emotions, we are the same. But also from the point of view of logic, example, the logic, what we call table. Table is table to everyone, because the concept of table has been used in everyday life. Either you are English or Europeans or Asian, it doesn't make difference between me and you. But what makes difference is the language. The perception itself does not make difference. So those are areas that we can share between us, you and me, can share through emotion, through logic. They call it cognitive ability of the process of mind. If you go through this cognitive ability, cognitive process, we are all same. We are all the same. Human beings are all the same, no matter where you're from, in terms of your language or culture or race or nationality. It doesn't really make difference when you come to these universal values. Then our technique to guide meditation is to see the universal values, not to react, but react appropriately to this mental state. Of course, meditations from Buddhist point of view is quite different from the other Westerner concept of mindfulness, because we have our own purpose of meditations. What is this purpose? Of course, to change our behavioral level. And of course, why not then the Western meditation technique? Do they change the behavioral level? Yes, of course, but the goal is very specific in our Buddhist traditions. You do understand this. That is the Nibbana is our ultimate goal. But of course, it is not easy to get into Nibbana state. But you are living on this earth. You need to change your behaviors. You have to learn how things behaves. But from Buddhist point of view, this is moral aspect of lives that we need to establish ourselves. This morality is behind the process of whole, intentions or purpose of meditations. The morality means not to behave which is not acceptable to you or to others, not to harm others, example, not to steal, not to cheat, not to tell lies. Those are the fundamental precepts of Buddhism. And these precepts are precepts that we have our own logic. You should not steal. If you steal it, someone will catch you, or police come to you, catch you and put into trial. Someone will be ended up with 5 years, 6 years in imprisonment. Those are logic behind this. But Buddhist meditation is to understand this. That precept has been broken because of mind. If we control our mind, we will not break our precept. So that's why Samvara Sila, we call it Samvara Sila, mean we restrained. Sila mean precept. But this precept, why we need to observe? Because you have your own purpose of lives to achieve. Therefore, to achieve this goal, you need to follow through some degree of principle. This is the principle that you need to follow every day. So to follow it, you need to restrain your mind. Samvara means restraint. So restraint is not easy, especially you're born into this modern world. As soon as you open your door, your mobile phone, you go out to the road, to go to market, or even from his mobile device and televisions in your room, you can see awful lot of images, stories and interactives, lives, events. So those affect our life every day. So how can we control them? How can we do somewhat restraint from them? Which is not easy for everyone to control this process or mechanism or the social media mechanisms. So you have to go through this, but of course you have to control your mind. Once you control your mind, you can easily develop an attitude, at least to not to break the limit. So people in the West easily break limit because consumerism, the advertisement, it allows you to happen, encourage others to buy it, to use it, to influenced by this. Of course, you need to pay for them because you have to work, therefore, to earn money. And these are vicious circles of lives within the framework of our social circle. This is not harm. It is not harmful. It doesn't harm you as long as you are within the principle or law of the countries. It doesn't matter. But it harms your mind. Mind becomes so busy because of this. Then our mind, our brain is so small, but the job of our brain is so heavy. So the whole world has been screened every day, every moment, screened in our mind, our brain. So therefore we need to rest, we need to pause, stop a moment, stay away from this influence. That's why people are here. People in the West are looking for to get rid of these problems. But intention is just to get rid of their everyday problems. Everyday problem is the pressure, the stress. That's it. But Buddhism is more than this. Buddhist meditation, especially, has its own goal. This goal is to complete, overcome from this influence of the world. That's why Buddha said, you know this, I do not fight with the world because I am completely controlled. But the world wanted to fight with me. So Buddha doesn't bother about the world. So that's his goal. Because Buddha's mind, I would say, never been hijacked by the world. Because he is fully controlled. He always calm and peaceful. But our mind, your mind, the mind in the West, people coming to see you, their mind is otherwise different. And their intention is to see you and to learn something from you, how to cope with their stress. When the stress level goes down, they feel themselves peaceful, happy, then they will despair. That's it. Their intention is aimed at that point. But Buddhist intentions of meditation is much higher than this. To understand the nature, to stay with the nature, not to react them, but to accept in a limited way. To accept in a limited way means you will not accept something because you get praise. You will put on your shoulder. You have to be careful to accept everything in the middle way. So this is the Buddhist point of view of meditations, to make a balance.
Okay.
Well, what, yeah.
My
What else?
my next theme actually is to discuss with you about your project, Lotus Children's Education Trust in Bangladesh, and the work that you have been doing since 2012 until now. And I see there's so many progress going on. So I wanted to ask on this topic.
Yes.
So then also trying to
Yeah.
spread word around that how hard you've been working for the children in Bangladesh. So would you mind to tell us a little bit about what is the purpose of having this Lotus Children's Education Trust and your aim?
Yes. Well, it is it is quite difficult to say within a few words. My
We can
intention
come
is
back
to
later.
reach out, the concept to the world. We are connected. You and me are here, connected through social media. How wonderful this world is. You can understand. So my intention is to develop morality and wisdom. Number one intention is to understand the way how we should understand the present world. So we need to guide our children. Our children is our future. So if our children behave very good, they respect others, they understand the way how we should behave, they will be helpful to the world one day. So the important point is the karuna, compassion, and the panya, the pragya, wisdom. These two things are the main intention to promote within this school or this project. Besides, compassion is our approach to deal with human problems. Wisdom is our agent. Wisdom is knowledge. Because education is our agent to create or to make this world more habitable, more sustainable. So we provide education not just for a job or to not just to pass the exams, class 6, 7, 8, 9, or university students, or achieve a BA degree or master degree. But we need to transform our lives. The transformation is so important for the future world. We are connected. Our resources are being used almost heading to some kind of side effect of these resources. We use a lot of our global resources, and we produce everyday's lives. The more you produce, the greater the world, the environment will get affected by this.
Mm.
So that is the global problems. Then why these Lotus children is thinking of this? Well, this is important that we have to think. We have to give educations in a way that sustainable for our world. So my idea is uh, to develop cognitive ability to transform their behaviors
Mm-hmm.
in everyday lives.
Mm-hmm.
You got your degree, surely you will get, of course, if you are clever, you will get a job. But there are thousands or hundreds of thousands of students who pass their degree but no jobs.
Mm.
So to create jobs, what should you do? You have to build a company. You have to, encourage to promote
Mm.
the consumer system.
Mm.
Is this the answer? It's not the answer. So uh, even in the UK, we heard a lot of times that our governments have been promoted 50,000 jobs. Our government promoted uh, this and that. The
Mm.
promotion is, of course, part of our lives. We have to promote because we have to survive.
Mm.
The promotion is to create a job for you.
Mm.
But we got to understand the way how uh, these jobs demand from others.
Mm.
So uh, the chain of supply, the chain of demand,
Mm.
the they are supplier because there are people who demand it. So
Mm.
demanding and supplying. The more you create work means the more you supply from
Mm.
the work
Mm-hmm.
to other people. Otherwise, your company will not survive.
Mm-hmm.
So those are development of the world. Of course, countries like Bangladesh, India, Nepal, other countries, emerging country, wanted to become rich. But the Western world has been already rich.
Mm.
Of course, we've been talking about this meditation. Are they happy? Still human beings. Their mental state is still suffering.
Mm.
But we were not going to that direction. The intention of our education is to understand how we should transform our lives in terms of uh, our behaviors, our attitude towards
Mm.
this world.
Okay. So how
How
many?
we should
Mm.
keep our world sustainable. This is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want money, there is no doubt about this. Everyone wants money. You, me, or otherwise, all of them, all human beings want to get uh, rich or want to become rich. Well, when we uh, try to work out how to we get a job, how to we get uh, rich, because we work hard. Many cases, that we do something which is not supposed to do. Our moral life has been broken. simply because we need to survive. So I'm looking into this particular point, the survival, at the same time, the behavior. You have to transform your behaviors. You can't just say that I done this because I need to survive. You need to look at larger part of this world. This world uh, has been interconnected. Our resources are being used almost end up. That what will happen another 20 years times, 50 years times, 100 years times? What will happen if we do not work hard to transform our attitude, not only in terms of uh, uh, development, because we have to transform our understanding of the nature. So the intention of this Lotus is to give our children how we should behave in this increasingly global economic, and how should we control ourselves, control our mind to understand the nature. So there are a couple of models, concept or thought that we've been giving to our children. We always say that you should not harm others. If someone harms you, how do you feel? So we try to promote or try to level, try to understand the concept of emotion. We say not to harm, not to get hurt. So these moralities and wisdom come together. We try to promote understanding of this nature, logic, and understanding of our own richness. How can we be rich? And why we have to be rich? We have to be rich because we want to have car, a house, every element that was socially helpful to you. Society give you high esteem, high regards if you are rich. Well, this is not our goal. Our goal is to understand the world, to understand the nature. Rich, of course, on the one hand is important for us. On the other hand, we cannot be rich by doing that is harmful to the earth, harmful to the world, harmful to our future generations. Kind of concept that we have our own curriculum to work with children that can give some cognitive ability to transform their lives.
I believe, I gather
Yes?
that you have a residential as well as coming to school and then go back home. So how many children are residential and how many are coming, and how it is funded?
Oh, well, it is difficult to get funds. It is quite difficult. We categorize three groups. Number one groups is those who are homeless. That means their parents or mother or father or one of them or two of them died or separated. Children has no space to study, to look after for their welfare. We use orphan children, number one. Number two, destitute children. Destitute, of course, country like India, country like emerging country, Burma, Bangladesh, almost everyone are poor. They are not rich. They are more or less destitute. Their family background is so poor, day in, day out. Every day they earn and they eat. They have no proper clothes to wear. Their house is like cattle house. That was the case. That is the case in this part of the world. That means their parents are there. They have parents, but parents are very, very poor. They earn every day and they eat every day. So there's a second group. The third group is a little bit better off in terms of their incomes. Their parents can work and can earn something. They have some money to give education to their children. But the problem is, this, especially the place where I set up this education center, is quite remote, hilly countries where not easily accessible by by anyone. So people are separated from one another. The villages on the hill. So if they go to study, they have to go down to the towns and market, or the school where the place where the school is quite far away from their home. So what should they do? If their children wanted to go to school, or if they wanted to give education to their children, they need to go to market, the place where the school is. They need to hire a house. They need to rent accommodation to their children, for their children. So there's quite a lot of money. So we prioritize our facilities to, number one, for the orphan, number two, destitute, the poor children, number three, these a little bit better off families. So what happened then? We try to take something like 50% from their family if children coming from better off. If they have money to pay. So this scheme just started this year. We don't know whether this scheme will be helpful to us. Especially this year, some people, the parents came to see me. Bante, I have two children. My children are in particular school, and I could not pay money anymore because I have to pay both hiring, the renting house accommodations, as well as fees for children, fees for schools and teachers. So what happens if I come and stay? I'll give my children here to you. I can pay something like 50%, but I cannot pay full. If I can pay full, I could keep my children in the place where school is good. But I have no money to run or to pay full expenditure, but I can pay some. So those is the third category that we have accepted this year.
Okay.
So funding coming from, for these third categories, from their families, 50%. And the other two categories, orphan and very poor, those are funded by us. So where this money come from? Well, it is difficult for me to get substantial money from donors. I still struggling, actually. We are struggling to get appropriate amount of money to provide food, teachers' salaries, education for these children, especially bills,
Yeah.
bill for all these teachers, foods, and as well as electric, other needs, requisites.
Would you mind to
So I have
would you mind to give us a
yeah.
number of students that they are living in your education center and the staffs, and a rough amount, how much do you normally spend a year, a month? So we have like a basic picture of how many students are living there, and what is the amount of expenditure that you are spending every month.
Well, it depends on what foods we provide. Depends on the student numbers.
Yeah.
But for the moment, there are 100 students, residents number, including teacher, novices, monks, children, together 103 residents.
That's a lot.
Food for food, yeah, food for these children. Of course, monthly we have to about 700 pounds.
Right.
Food that we have to provide. About 700 pounds for food, just only for food.
Okay.
But what kind of food? Then it depends on the vegetable that we get through local means. So sometimes the price of local vegetable could be very high, sometimes quite okay, acceptable. Depends on the demands in the market. The onions example. Last year when I went there, onion price was only 50 taka, means about 50 piece, 40 piece per 1 kg. But the price gone up after few months. The price gone up to 1 kg 1 kg onions to over almost 2 pounds. 1 kg onions. So then you can see the differences between the varies, according to the times and demand. So it is difficult to say accurate amount that we need to run this, residence house. Of course, average 700 pounds per month for food especially. Then teacher salaries, again, our teachers are rather training teachers. Most of them are just educated. They received their degree among years ago, 2 years ago. They're training teachers, so they could stay with us if we provide appropriate salary. For the moment, we provide only 5,000 per month. That means they only about 50 pounds per month.
Yeah. For the salary.
Salary 50 pounds per month. It's very, very lower. 50 pounds whole month.
Yeah.
So there are students that have no family yet, but of course they will establish their family one day. They have their own purpose of lives, to get married, example. They need homes.
Yeah.
They need well income for their families. So 50 pounds is not really even, you know,
So that you're
20% of government salary.
yeah,
Government salary is almost 25,000.
okay,
25,000 means about
200
300,
yeah.
350 pounds per month. 350 pounds per month is quite okay in this country standard. But we pay only 50 pounds per month for the moment. But we are hoping to increase this 10,000, means almost 100 pounds. So we cannot increase more than this.
That's a really huge responsibility over your shoulder.
Yes, sure.
And is there any other
Sure.
organization that are helping you in this project?
For the moment, we are running a trust here, Lotus Children Education Trust. Monthly, I receive about 135 pounds monthly from this trust, about 140, something 50, especially from members who subscribe us.
Okay.
They subscribe to members regularly. But sometimes people just pay a check, 100 pounds, sometimes 500 pounds. So we have no regular incomes. But I can tell you, only 500, 100, about 50 pounds per month by regular subscribers.
Okay.
And the rest, I need to work hard to get through.
Yeah.
Then, what else that we have supporters? This year we have 3 sponsors from Singapore. Firefly missions sponsor 3 teachers for 1 year. So we agreed. I discussed with them to give only $100 per month.
Okay.
So we, of course, agree with our teacher to give them about 100 UK sterling pounds per month. So that will be about 10,000. It depends on the fluctuations of exchange rate. It could be 11,000, or it could be more, depending on the fluctuations of the currency. But 3 sponsors from Singapore agreed for 1 year. So they give us $200 every month for 3 teachers. Then we have 13 teachers. There are 13 teachers. So almost 800 pounds, $800 per month to give each 5,000 taka. I need 800 plus pounds every month. So it is quite difficult for me to raise 800 pounds for teachers, 13 teachers. Even these 800 pounds are only for 50% of our target. So 13 teachers mean 1,300 pounds. Our agreement is that each teacher will get 100 pounds per month, means 1,300 per month. So I told them that, come on, we are still struggling to get funds. So we will increase gradually, slowly in the future. For the moment, could you stay half of this amount, mean 50 pounds per month? So the sponsor that we received from Singapore also divided into this 50%. The money that we received from Singapore. I told our teachers, Well, our Singapore donors give us $100 per teacher, but it would be difficult for us to run the school without others. But you will get, these 3 teachers will get $100, but other will get $50. It's no good. So what will happen if we all equal to each other? We will find out money from other sources, but this $100 is not for the 3 teachers, but for almost 4 or 5 teachers we get from there, because 50%, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we are struggling really to get into standard running of the children home.
So Bante, in relation to this education center, we will come back another special only for that, because unfortunately this is an hour and a half now. This the end. So I really admire your hard work, and you have prepared so much since 2010 and
that's true. I have to thank some community here who are affiliated to our monastery, the Burmese devotees, who are very generous to give me some support, including, of course, Young Rudy from your center. She is still supporting the monthly fees. Whatever amount still one of our subscribers. I myself subscribe to it. I ask others to subscribe only £3 per month. I thought £3 is manageable for everyone. Everyone could do it £3, and if we increase number, we will earn some donation. That was my intention in the beginning, but people are quite difficult. I find difficult, to convince even for £3. People, individual people have individual mind. I don't know how to explain this. I find difficult to raise £3 per month from single persons. So it is not easy. It's not easy for subscribers who subscribe to our trust regularly. Only 150 or so, I can't remember, maybe around like this per month.
I think they need to put this information around and in a wider audience, and gradually people will sponsor.
We have to work through social media. We have to hire someone to work hard. There are hundreds of, perhaps thousands or hundreds of thousands of charities operating in the UK, looking for money, competing each others. And they have their own background. Some of them have their own background, temple-based background. This trust, of course, based in Birmingham Buddhist Vihara, but Birmingham Buddhist Vihara has its own trust to run the center. The pagoda, monasteries, education center, Dhamma hall, bills, maintenance. So we try not to focus much from our affiliated groups. But of course, some of them, they knew me. They see the benefit of this work, the intentions, and the needs and the urgency of this work to promote for the future generations. So they donate themselves. I do not ask. So they just try to, can I pay for it? Can I make £1,000? So like this, quite okay, not bad, quite okay. We have a few donors from our Burmese communities members who donated 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, something like that. Those are amount that we only, important to run the center, the big figures. Otherwise, it's not easy.
Now, if
Well, you said to me you are running quite good, and you saw through social media the fact that I have these a lot of students and building coming up, and other things happening in the school. Well, it is good. It is okay, but underlying factors of this running course is never rebuilt.
yeah,
Anything they donated to me by means of my spiritual, my lecture, my uh, you know uh, dharma work, all goes to this trust.
yeah,
I don't use for my own myself. So all this goes. So that is another area that I can say I can run, because every penny that come to me, it go to the children purposes, teaching purposes, teacher salaries.
yeah,
So from that point of view, and trust, I'm from Singapore, I'm from pure individual donors. So I'm just making slowly, uh, progressing it, but nothing is sure.
yeah.
Everything is quite struggling. Quite.
Now, in case,
Say again, for example, last time you just said 100 people is quite a lot. So our intention is not limited to the 100 residents. To run a school properly, from class 1 to class 10, we need to have 300 children in terms of government law in Bangladesh. It's a school based in Bangladesh. So more than 300 students we need to run this school in the future. So if we provide 300 students, in the school, perhaps another 5 year time, government may give us some benefit, say 50% of teacher salaries, only salary. So I'm hoping that another 5 years times, the government may give us 50% of teacher salaries. These are only hope to keep for the future. Because once you have school, you have to have teachers. Without teachers, there's no school. Children are available everywhere, but without teachers, and teacher will stay there once you give them enough appropriate salary, not necessarily standard as the government payment. Government payment is 25,000, 300, more than 300 pounds. But our target is only 100 pounds forever, not just for these days. So I have agreed with our teachers that we can only give you 100 pounds equivalent in the future. Are you okay? They say, all okay. We'll be happy to work, especially to support the organizations with this small amount. So hopefully we will talk more about this.
yeah, and just to end up, if anyone wants to contribute to your this children's education trust, how they will contact you, or how they
Well,
can
we have,
make a donation?
yes,
Do you have any
yeah, you can.
Facebook page or website that they can go and explore?
We have we have page Children Education Trust. Lotus Children Education Trust
Yeah.
is our page. This page run by the trust, including myself, a few others. So we have our own trust registered by the Charity Commission, Commissioner. So we are running according to law in this country. So we can raise money from people. And we have all those balance expenditures and incomes in our bank account, or all receipt that we have, received donation from others. Also, we have records all those things as well. So if you log into www.lotuseducation.net,
Okay.
you will find all those information. Lotuseducation.net.
Okay. So
Lotus Children Education Trust is a page where the social media page.
okay.
Everything
So
you can get from there. Someone can contact me through this.
yeah. So thank you very much, Venerable Dr. Nagasena, for sparing your time
Well,
to me. And I really hope that your project in Bangladesh success and you will get more support so you can work comfortably for the
yes,
all the
thank you.
children in
Thank
Bangladesh.
you for
Uh,
having me today.
and
And of
hopefully we'll
course,
be
it is
back
not
again.
prepare anything.
Yeah,
Well, we will come back again
more.
uh, more points, more effective discussions, better discussions.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for
Okay.
your contribution, Bante. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.